Hello folks, this is Wager Detective coming at you January 19th, 2026 in what is going to be probably the greatest cap that Wager Detective has ever done on a sporting event. This has never been done before. There's not another capper in the world, in my estimation, and I'm only speaking out of competitive spirit, on what the cap that I'm about to do will never be done. The information that you'll get in this cap is something that no other capper in the world is thinking about, and it'll be one in how many ever people are in the world that is being done by, and this is Wager Detective. Listen to this cap very carefully, because I do believe I have the true side here more than the total, but I'm going to have a pretty strong lean on the total, but my side here as you go through this cap is going to be absolutely like you've never heard before. This puts me in a level where I need to get signed for a big deal. And also, not only that, I want to be the GM and the head coach of whatever team I get drafted by that's going to put me on their team to succeed as a capper. Probably after this, you'll never see, it'll be more secretive than ever before going forward on the side and the total of what Wager Detective does. Got to get signed by a big team after this one. I got to big up myself, right? If nobody else is going to do it for me, I'm going to do it here. I'm going to be my own representative. And please click the like button, subscribe. I appreciate all the support I've gotten out there. We love you. Let's get into this. Miami versus Indiana all time. We look at the games here. They're 1-1 all time. These games went back to 1966 and 64, but it's somewhat of a blueprint to get you started. Miami, Indiana 1-1, lost 1. They're -7, +14, so they're +7 points between two games. That puts it at about 3.5 just from that, the two meetings. Okay, we know the line is 7.5 and the total is set at 47.5. Right there, we're leaning towards Miami. Okay, now as we get into this, I just want to go to Miami. I want to go to Cristobal here, big part of the cap. We look at Cristobal in his time as a coach, 97 and 78, but if you look at that, a lot of those losses came when he was at Florida International, right? 27 and 47 there. Somebody saw something in Oregon, said, we're going to bring you there. We don't care about what you did there. You're a brilliant coach. Didn't have the horses over there to get it done. He goes to Oregon and Miami, and he is 70 and 31. That puts him at 69%. That's elite level, guys. Okay? This is where the cap gets better. This is going to be short and sweet, pretty much of a cap. Not real long with it. In bowl games, Cristobal. You see here, 1-1 at Florida National, and then he steps up the competition. He's 2-2. Lost 2 with Miami, and then he's won 3 straight. So 6-5 in bowl games. He's 2-3 against the spread in losses in those 5 bowl game losses, and 4 over, 1 under the number that's set today. Okay. Now, in his bowl games, he's seen the Big Ten 1, 2, I'm looking off paper here, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. In those bowl games against Big Ten teams, he is 3-1. The one loss came in the Pinstripe Bowl here, right? 2023. He lost against Rutgers, as you can see there, 31-24. Still covering the spread at that 7.5 and that one loss, right? But in other bowl games, he beat Michigan State. We can go back here. I just want to show you. Okay. He beat Michigan State Red Box Bowl. Okay. When he was with Oregon, 7-6. So the game went under, but he still won. Okay. What's the other game? Oh, then he goes the next year in the Rose Bowl. What's he do? Where's Oregon at here? Okay, Oregon. You see him right here. They beat Wisconsin 28-27. Wins by a point again against another Big Ten team in a big bowl game. Total 55. Goes over the total there. Okay. Now he comes to Miami. Okay. Loses the Pinstripe Bowl, as we just said, against Rutgers. And then loses against Iowa State in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, lost by 1. So both those games he covers. Both games go over. Rutgers game 55, Iowa State in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, 2024. He loses 42-41, as you can see here, against the 18th team in the country, okay? Rocco Becht got the MVP in that game. Okay, now he comes to Miami, where he beats Ohio State 24-14. Game goes under. But, so, crystal ball against the Big Ten. Okay, in his time at FIU, he got crushed in both games there. Okay, lost to Penn State 0-59 in a regular season game, and then lost to Iowa 0-42 when he was at FIU. He goes to Oregon, and since his time at Oregon and Miami, he is 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 4-1, 5-1. Mario Cristobal is 5-1 against the Big Ten. The only loss coming against Rutgers last year in the bowl game, where he lost 24-31, still covered the spread. So, in his 5-1 against Big Ten teams, okay, he's 5-1 in his last 6 against Big Ten teams. He's plus 19 in the point differential department between wins, plus and minus, between the wins and losses divided by 6. He's plus 3.16 points per game against Big Ten teams, going 5-1 in his last 6 against Big Ten. Average score in those 6 games against Big Ten, last 6, 51.4 points per game. This is where the cap gets even more better for Indiana. Pay attention, because what Wager Detective is teaching you is what he's been doing for years, which makes him one of the greatest handicappers in the world. Have to toot my horn here. I put in too much work not to. I'm looking to sign a big deal. Okay, so against the, we look at Indiana. Cignetti, 1-1, okay, against the ACC. When he was with James Madison, he lost against Louisville. Now, we can go to that here if you want to. I could show you the games right here on screen, okay? We could go to Cignetti and show you what he's done, okay? We're going to look at this real short and sweet. Okay, so James Madison, he starts off there. Let's take a look at the schedule here, who he played. Okay, he saw the ACC, as you see right here in his first year. Lost 10-34 against Louisville. Minus 24 points, 44 points total. Okay, next year. Okay, ACC, as you see here. The only team that he saw that year, 36-35, beat Virginia, +1, 71 points. So he's 1-1 against the ACC, but he's 0-2 against the spread that's set today against ACC. Now we go to what he did when he Cignetti. What he did, he comes to Indiana. He doesn't see any ACC there in either one of those years. Okay. Let's take a look. No ACC there, and then no ACC for them this year. Okay? This will be the first time he sees them. So, Cignetti, 1-1. Now, this is where the cap gets even better. Okay? Statistics. Guys, Mendoza, we go to his career game logs. This is why, Wager Detective, I got to toot my own horn here, because I love what I've come across in my study and my cap on how I cap a game is different than any other capper out there. This is why I'm the best in the world. Let's get to it. I know people don't want to hear that, but people that do hear this and they love the fire in me, I love you guys. The ones that don't want to hear that, don't follow me, don't like me, don't pay attention to what I do. Care less. There's a lot of haters in this world. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, so he didn't see any ACC in his first year with California. Okay. Last year he did, though, guys. Let's take a look. 1, 2, 3. No. Okay. 4. No, they're not going to let you isolate it to just that. But, okay, we'll just go there. You look at what he did against the ACC last year. 0-1. Florida State loses 9-14. Then goes to Miami. Lost to Miami already last year. 38-39. That team is not as good as it is this year. Okay? Went to Pitt. Lost there by 2. ACC. North Carolina State. Lost against them. 23-24. Okay? Wake Forest. You beat them by 10. And then Syracuse. So you are 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, 1-4, 1-5 against the ACC for Fernando Mendoza. The one game you did cover, you won by 10, but let's take a look at that Wake Forest team and see how good they were. They were 4-8. 4-8, guys. SRS, minus 3.45. Tough schedule. Not what Miami's seen this year and not what they're doing. Okay. So Fernando Mendoza is 1-5 against the ACC. Kurt Signetti, 1-1 versus the ACC, and in the one win, you won by 1 point. The one win for Mendoza versus the ACC wins by 10 against Wake Forest, as you see there. Okay, so you're plus 11 points in 2 wins. That's about 5.5 points per game. Wake Forest not as good as what Miami is this year. Okay. I could end the cap there and just call Miami to, and I'm going to call it now, Miami's going to cover this spread, possibly win outright. We've seen what Mendoza has done against the ACC, 1-5. Nobody knows that. Nobody's paying attention to that. Wager Detective is. That's why his agency and his university is growing. It's a manifestation of what I believe to be true. I'm going to keep preaching it as I go. I am one of, if not the greatest sports handicapper in the world. And this cap alone says it. Nobody's looking at that. They're looking at the metrics of what they're doing this year. They don't care about history and where history leads you. History has always led Wager Detective towards the cash out window. Okay, so we look at that. Okay? Did we look at Mendoza in bowl games? I mean, was he in a bowl game? I mean, let's look at Cal. I want to look at California. Okay. I want to see if he did play in any bowl games because I want to take a look there. 6 and 7 probably didn't make a bowl game here. Oh yeah, they did. Played Texas Tech. They lost 14-34 in the Independence Bowl. That's a bowl game. 0-1. I didn't even put that as part of my cap. I'm just thinking about that on the fly right here. Okay. 0-1 in bowl games. Okay. Next year, Mendoza. Take a look at the schedule. Bowl game. Loses the LA Bowl. He's 0-2 at California in bowl games. Right? 0-2. Let's take a look at that 2023 season. 34-14. That game just gets over. 48 points, minus 20. All right. And then last year, UNLV in the bowl game. That's 24-13. That's 37. Okay, Cal. So he loses by 20. Right? And then loses by 11. Okay, in 2 bowl games. Now this year, he goes to take a look here. I got to get better at really tightening this up. Mendoza, okay. Now he had a great year this year, guys. Don't get it twisted. And he had a great year last year. Right? This is his first year at Indiana. He had a fantastic year. Team played a great, look at the SRS. Number 1 in the nation. SOS 6.41. We look at the schedule. He didn't see any ACC teams this year. Okay? This will be the first one. But Mendoza fought 1-5 against the ACC in his career. All right? Minus 6 point differential in all those games. They're close. In a couple of those, he lost by 2, but I mean, the +10 against Wake Forest, he did win that one, the one ACC matchup, and Cignetti's 1-1 against the ACC in his career. Loses to Louisville by 24, beats Virginia by 1. Okay, in his time with JMU. Okay, so we look at this, who they played this year. You know, you look up and down the schedule. The Illinois game is impressive, 63-9. Iowa, you win by 5. Oregon, you win by 10. I got to give you that. Michigan State, nothing to write home about. You beat UCLA. You beat up on Maryland. You barely got by Penn State. You beat Wisconsin pretty handily. You beat Purdue. And then Ohio State, you beat by 3. And then the last 2, you won pretty handily. Guys, I might cut this cap short. Now, the only problem I have here is, I don't know if I trust. I like Cristobal, like we said. He's 5-1. He's excuse me. Yeah, he's 5-1. Cristobal in his last 6 meetings against the Big Ten. The one loss, Pinstripe Bowl against Rutgers, where he still covered the spread by a half point. They lost 31-24. But Cristobal, 5-1 against the Big Ten in his career as a coach, and he's 3-1 in bowl games against the Big Ten. Okay? And he's 5-1 in his last 6 meetings overall against the Big Ten as a coach. Now, I would love to look at what this kid did against the Big Ten. Let's look at Carson Beck, because I didn't put that in any of my cap. I mean, look at this kid, man. He's a national champion twice. Freshman, I don't know if he was a starter then, but I want to take a look at his game logs here, because I didn't look at that. Career game logs for Carson Beck. I'm not necessarily a big fan of his, but Big Ten, I want to see Big Ten teams here, if he's seen any. He wasn't really getting burned as far as a quarterback until, he wasn't really a starter until about here, right? So I want to take it from here. Big Ten. Let me see if I see any Big Ten teams. Ole Miss, Tennessee Tech, Bama State. No Big Ten teams there. Okay. Then 2024, he Clemson, Kentucky, Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Ole Miss, Tennessee, no. Texas, Massachusetts, no. And then this year, Florida, Florida State, Louisville. Am I missing anything here? The only team he's seen from the Big Ten was a one-off against Ohio State. I don't see any other Big Ten matchups here. As I'm scrolling up, Stanford, Louisville, Florida State, Florida, South Florida, Texas Tech, Georgia Tech, UMass, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Florida, Texas, Mississippi State, no. Auburn, Alabama, Kentucky, Clemson, no. Florida State, Alabama, Tech, Georgia Tech, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Missouri, Florida, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Auburn, UAB, South Carolina, Ball State, UT Martin. So no, his one time against the Big Ten this year, bowl game against a good Ohio State team, wins. This guy cannot beat Mendoza 1-5. I got to follow that cap. I have to think that there's value there, at least for, and then look, at the end of the day, Indiana just run roughshod over 2 teams. The public's going to see that. They're going to see what they did all year, and they're going to ride with that. I got to believe that this Miami team, who really is underrated on that offensive line, I mean, these guys are absolute monsters over there. Fletcher's good as well. You know, you look at Miami, and we said it, we'll say it again. They're 1-1 all time against Indiana. They won by 7, lost by 14. So Miami is -7 in 2 games. I know that doesn't really matter. It happened a long time ago. I still got to put it as part of the cap. There's history there. Cristobal, 69% since being at Oregon and Miami. His losing record as a coach came at FIU, but when he stepped up at competition and he got the horses behind him, he's good. Again, Cristobal, 6-5 in bowl games, and he's 4-1 in bowl games against the Big Ten, right? 2 wins by 1 point. He lost against Rutgers in Pinstripe Bowl, and then he beat Ohio State this year. So, and then again, Crystal Ball, 5-1 in his last 6 versus the Big Ten. Okay, plus 19 points, point differential in those games. And then Mendoza, 1-5 against the ACC. The 1 win last year coming in against Wake Forest, where he won by 10 against a team that didn't even make a bowl game. And then Cignetti, 1-1 versus the ACC as a coach, losing by 24 when he was with JMU against Louisville, and then beating Virginia when he was with JMU, beating them by 1, 36-35. And then you look at the bowl game last year for Cignetti. I mean, it wasn't an ACC team, but he lost 17-27 against Notre Dame. Listen, I think this team is great. I think that, you know, when you look at what he's done as a coach, this is going to be the test that I think is going to be. And listen, at the end of the day, Wager Detective is going to make that call. I'm not going back on it. Miami plus the 7.5. I think you could get a close game here where it's just excitement abound. And Miami is the road team, quote unquote, in this game, even though they're playing at Hard Rock Stadium, but they're listening to it. We look at Carson Beck. If he doesn't throw any interceptions here, I got to think that they're going to have a pretty good chance at winning this game, but definitely covering. You look at on the rushing, you know, you got Shamar Brown, Fletcher with 10, Gerard Pringle with 4, and then receiving, look at Malachi Toney, 9 highlighted there. You got C.J. Daniels with 7. They got, from scrimmage, they got 57 touchdowns from scrimmage. Francis Mauga, All-American there, as you see there. Defensively, we look at this team, 47 sacks, solid. 96 tackles for loss. Okay? Where's the interceptions at here? Do they show them? They got 16 interceptions, not bad. Against who they're playing, pretty good. 56 passes deflected, 9 fumble recoveries, 13 forced fumbles. Guys, they're solid. Okay? Kicking and punting, if we look at their place kicker here, 17-23, not solid there. You don't want to see that for Carter Davis. And then their punter, 49 punts, 44 yards per punt. That's a lot better than a lot of guys in college football and in the NFL. Now, I want to see what they're going to see here today. I'd be remiss if I didn't look at, you know, Indiana. I'm not dismissing them. Great team, 15-0, right? We've seen this story before, though. I mean, they crushed in the Rose Bowl. They beat Oregon. Oregon turned the ball over 3 times. That's going to be the key in this game. Beck cannot turn the ball over here. He's going to have to live up to it. Mendoza, we know what he's done. 41, only 6 interceptions. Won the Heisman Trophy winner, Maxwell Award, All-American. Fantastic year. We know how those type of things could turn up in a title game like this, right? What do? Rushing. Roman Hemby, 7 on the ground. Kaleon Black, 10 on the ground. Kobe Martin, 6. They got 33 on the ground. Fantastic. And then you look at what they do. 46 in the air, man. Elijah Sarrett, 15. Omar Cooper, 13. 79 touchdowns from scrimmage, guys. Defense. You look at this team, what they've done. 45 sacks, solid. They got 2 more interceptions than Miami. Miami has 2 more sacks. Tackles for loss, 45. Miami's got them there. Fumble recoveries, 11. They do have 2 interception returns for a touchdown. That could tilt the game. And then they got 12 forced fumbles. So defensively, I mean, it's pretty solid. Like I said, I can't dismiss this team. If we take a look at their schedule, I know they had one of the tougher schedules, 9th toughest schedule in football. Again, that Illinois game stands out. Maryland, not so much. They barely got by a Penn State team that didn't have a great year. They beat up on Purdue, and then Ohio State, you did good. You did real good. And then Alabama and Oregon, I think Miami's better than both these teams. I'm going to call it here. I'm going to say, as long as Beck doesn't turn the ball over, everything I just told you in this cap leads me to believe that Indiana plus 7.5 is the better bet. I place that, the value on that, at about 70 to 30 just through this cap, just based off of Signetti versus the ACC, Mendoza versus the ACC, Crystal Ball versus the Big Ten, and all the stats I gave you in bowl games. Guys, I mean, I got to lean Miami here, and I think if Miami does get it done, I think that total will sneak over, especially if the Indiana's chasing, or even if Miami's chasing. I believe that a defensive turnover or something will lead it to the over. I would be like 55-45, 57-43 in favor of that over 47.5. I couldn't play the under. I wouldn't be able to play the under here and feel comfortable. I think it sneaks over. That's the call here. Wager Detective at the 26-minute mark here of this video, 11:24 a.m. from Atlantic City, New Jersey, inside of a sports book here in AC. Wager Detective is calling Miami plus 7.5, possible outright. I'd put the outright at 50-50 in this game. I'll be honest with you. I'd put the outright. I mean, I know Indiana's getting a lot of love here. And we're going to take a look here. I mean, minus 320, no way, especially in Miami. I know Indiana's probably their fans are going to be there in the stands there. I don't care. Give me Miami plus a 7.5, minus 110. This is Wager Detective here. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, follow me on Twitter and YouTube. I could also be found on Facebook and Instagram, but my two major accounts where you can find intel, motivational content, winning tickets. Follow Wager Detective and set alerts, because you don't know when a bat signal is going to come to your phone, that you could set alerts that it's going to be right there, a bat signal in the sky. Wager Detective calling Miami plus 7.5 to cover this spread here, and could very well win this game outright against Indiana based off all the stats I put in here. This is Wager Detective signing off. Follow me. I love you guys out there, all the support. I appreciate you. I love you. Peace.